Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD Travelsthenix, and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I want to talk about a topic which is paralysis by analysis. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically saying that you're analyzing something so much, you're thinking about something so much that you're completely frozen up and that you're not actually putting anything into action. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in travel, fitness, and overall growth content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. Now guys, a lot of us are thinkers, we're planners, we're people who come up with great ideas. That's a great thing. The problem with this mentality is that you're never actually gonna put these ideas into action. You're never actually gonna go through with your blueprint that you've been taking so much time to plan out. You're so busy thinking about all these different options that you have, or thinking about how you want to do something or how you want to perfect something, that you never actually take action. Now, when I was in my early to mid 20s, that was me to a T. All I ever did was just come up with ideas. All I ever did was think about things. All I ever did was plan out stuff. I used to smoke hella weed back in the days. I probably used to smoke 5 times a day. You know, I used to think I'm smoking weed and, you know, all these ideas are coming into my head. But you know what the messed up part about that was? Is I wasn't writing any of these ideas down. I was just coming up with ideas for no reason. I wasn't actually putting any of these ideas into practice because the perfect circumstance never came around. And guess what? When you're coming up with a lot of ideas and you're overthinking and, you know, you're making blueprints and you keep on changing the blueprints, you're never going to come up with the perfect anything. The perfect circumstances are never going to come around. A lot of the times when we put things into action, the perfect circumstances show up because we're making an effort to go into the right direction. To be completely honest with you, I probably should have started a YouTube channel maybe like 10, 11 years ago, because that's about the same time that I've been traveling the world. I've been traveling all over the world for like 10, 11 years. I've been going to Europe, I've been going to Asia, I've even been to Africa, I've been to South America, and all these times when I've been traveling the world, I would always buy cameras, I would always buy video recorders, whatever the device was for the time, I was always buying it, and I always had these plans of making documentaries about travel, or I always had these plans of, you know, maybe starting a YouTube channel once I really learned about YouTube, but I never actually put any of it into action, which is a shame because I've had some great times while I've been traveling all over the world. And a lot of times I actually still have a lot of the old footage that I even took when I was traveling all over the world. One of these days, who knows, maybe I'll put some bloopers on YouTube or something from back when I was in Japan when I first started going, or some bloopers of when I've taken some trips to Europe. But that's besides the point. The point is that I always had the idea of creating travel content. The thing is I was just too scared to do it. I was too scared to do it because I wanted everything to be perfect. I was too scared to do it, probably because I was scared to fail anyways. And what that comes from is just because I was overthinking everything. I was overthinking what could go wrong. I was overthinking, oh, I need to have this to be perfect. I need to have somebody traveling with me so they can film me. That's just an excuse. Because when I actually did start coming out with YouTube content for travel, and when I did start making videos anyways, I didn't even have that much equipment. A lot of times I was just going around with a cell phone, taking videos of myself or taking videos of wherever I went. When I went to Brazil, I think I filmed everything when I was in Brazil on a cell phone. And I think the Brazil content was probably my most popular videos that I ever came out with. So there's really no excuse. There's never going to be a perfect situation. You're not going to have in my case, I wasn't going to have some camera crew traveling with me all over the world. That's unrealistic. Getting your game plan down super perfect is never going to happen. There's always going to be unexpected things in life. So even if you do come up with the perfect game plan, there's always going to be a monkey wrench that's thrown in there. And with monkey wrenches and with things that are unexpected, you always need to adjust to the circumstances. And honestly, a lot of times that's what brings out the best in us, is when a monkey wrench is thrown into our plan, or when the unexpected happens and, you know, we have to raise our game up to the next level. We have to adapt. But anyways, guys, I think one of the most impressive things that I ever did was when I started my Airbnb business in Japan. I didn't have really much money to even start the Airbnb business, and I actually had a pretty good paying job when I was living in San Jose, California. And I was working at that job for maybe like a year and a half. Hated it. I was getting paid decent though. And I honestly wasn't even really saving money because at that time I was going out, kicking it. chasing all types of women. But yeah, so what I actually ended up doing is I went on vacation to Japan, and I took about, I would say about 2 weeks. Ended up going to Japan for like 2 weeks, and ended up seeing that there was a need for accommodation for tourists at the time. And at the time, the yen was very devalued and the US dollar was high. So I got the idea to start an Airbnb business because I knew how much apartments were going for in Japan, and they were super cheap. So basically what I did is I just took all the money that I had at the time, which is about $3,000 which isn't too much money, and I quit my job. I ended up going to Japan, getting my ex-girlfriend to get an apartment in her name, and then we ended up doing, or I ended up doing an Airbnb, buying a bunch of furniture with all the money that I had, and basically just took a chance because I spent all the money that I had just to start the Airbnb, just banking on the fact that it would be successful in the first month. And guess what? Just on the fact that I took that leap of faith, went to another country, started a business with only $3,000, man, that business was super profitable. I ended up with 10 Airbnbs total between me and my ex-girlfriend. We did that business for like 4 years. Honestly, we could have scaled it to have 100 Airbnbs if we were, doing it smarter, and if I wasn't just too busy in Japan just kicking it and chasing tail the whole time when I was out there. I would have scaled it to be a lot bigger. But the moral of the story is that I took the chance, I had a little bit of a plan, but to be honest with you, it wasn't even really too well thought out. But because of the fact that I was a doer and I took that chance, I ended up being super successful with that. Not super successful, it didn't make me rich, but at the same time, I was comfortable. And I was able to live in another country super comfortable, experience another culture, learn some Japanese, learn a good amount of Japanese. I got to the point where I was pretty conversational, and I just had a great experience. And it's something that I'll never forget, and it's something that I'll never regret that I did, because I had a great time living in Japan. I still have countless of good friends in Japan. I still have countless of friends that I met in Japan that I still stay in contact with that live all over the world. Shout out to my homeboy Devon Washington. He's out there playing basketball. You guys might have seen him on my channel before. We did an interview a little while back. But anyways, guys, you just can't be scared of failing, and you can't overthink things, because even with the situation with me going out to Japan, starting that Airbnb business, even if I would have failed, I could have just came back home. You know what I mean? I was I think I was like 28, 29 years old when I did that. I would have been broke, I would have, let's just say it did go wrong, I would have messed up, been broke, still had a good time in Japan. I probably still would have went back to Japan and tried to figure something else out. But at the same time, the option is always you can go back home. You know what I mean? You can always go back home. You can always start at the drawing board. The job that I had in San Jose, California, and the life that I was living down there wasn't that great anyways. You know what I mean? At the time, I was dealing with two different women at the same time. I was dealing with the one in Japan, and I was dealing with one in San Jose. And my relationship in San Jose was not good. You know what I mean? I hated my job, so I just wasn't feeling the situation anyway. So at the end of the day, it's like, if you're working a job that you can't really stand, and you're in a situation in life that's not necessarily optimal, what's the worst thing that can happen? You know what I mean? You can always go back to something that's not optimal. But taking a chance on something that could be great, that's something that you got to do. Now, the worst thing that you can do and the worst thing that you can be is somebody that sits on the sidelines and talks about the people who are actually in the game. So what I encourage everybody to do out there is get off the sidelines, get off the bench, and actually check yourself into the game and make something happen. Worst thing that you can do is miss a shot, but you never know, you might end up winning MVP. But anyways, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story about me in Japan, and kind of how I started that Airbnb business. Again, I want to emphasize that we have to take chances in life. We have to stop overthinking, we have to stop over planning, and we definitely have to stop waiting for the perfect circumstances to come, because the perfect circumstances are never going to come. You have to make your circumstances perfect. So if you guys got anything out of this video, go ahead and leave me a like. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll have more content like this, also fitness content. If you guys are interested in some self-improvement, if you guys want to get in the best shape of your life, go ahead and hit my website. That's Travelsthenix.com. You can book a free consultation with me. We can go over a blueprint, go over a game plan, and put it into action on how we can optimize your health and fitness, what your goals are, and what we need to do to get you there. But anyways, guys, I hope everybody's having a great day. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.